benefiting students with the use of AI as my inquiry presentation. So I chose this topic because I was having a conversation with my mom about how in her latest meeting she was told by her principal to start using AI in their lesson plans and in their lessons and with the students. With this, I was kind of confused because I feel like, especially in elementary school, they wouldn't push the kids to use AI as much as the principal was telling them to. So I wanted to do a deeper dive, and that is why I chose my inquiry project on AI. So one reason that I found is because it helps spark imagination. I noticed this in my internship classroom as well, that sometimes the kids just got frustrated, they didn't know what to do, so they would just stop. They wouldn't continue their thought process, they wouldn't continue what they were doing, they would just give up completely. So with AI, this stops children from limiting their imagination and gives them more ideas. So if they have an idea in their head, they can type it into one of the programs, and the program will give them more ideas or more ways to expand their idea, or just their idea but in a picture form or in the form that they're trying to give it, so a video, something like that. And then another way imagination helps is realizing what they can accomplish with the big ideas they have. Children have really big ideas and sometimes they just don't know how to say it, but they have these ideas just perfectly in their heads and they just need it out of their head. So they can describe it as well as they can, but this also helps their description and their describing of materials and topics. So they can describe whatever they're thinking into the program, any AI program, and the generator will give them their idea and help them build their imagination. This also causes them to gain a lot of confidence, because when they would really just give up on the topic, instead of giving up, they have motivation to keep on going. They have motivation to keep on bringing their ideas to life, and there's really no reason to give up because they have the materials that they need to continue building their idea. My next topic was meeting the needs of all. So this means meeting the needs of the kids who may not think the same, or the ESL students who might be a little behind because they're learning a different language and they're just trying to catch up with their friends and their peers. So the AI presentations have lessons for each learner that can be made. I actually watched my mom make one. Pretty much she has her original lesson plan and then the notes, and then she kind of just gives it to Gemini or ChatGPT, and then it makes slides, or it can make slides with words that her ESL students can understand more, because while some of them don't speak English fluently, they understand it, and each student has kind of different needs, so she can kind of meet those different needs by putting those lessons into AI and just kind of making a presentation for each of the students that she has and their different needs. And then classrooms that have ESL students get a better system to helping them find the right words that they're thinking about. I have had many internships in Champaign where they kind of just, the teachers kind of push away from the ESL students because they don't understand what they're saying, they don't understand what they're trying to say. So whenever they have a question or they're really confused, they kind of just figure it out real quick and just go about their day, which they don't have time to sit there and help, which I understood completely. But with this, they can go to either Gemini or there's another program that helps them adapt to the classroom and put what they're thinking into, put what the teacher is saying and what they don't understand into the program, and then they kind of catch back up with the class and figure out that, oh, okay, I didn't understand this word, or I didn't understand what this idea was because it was all in English and these are really complicated words to me. And then just explaining to the AI or the translator, like, this is what she was talking about, I didn't understand it. It just brings it back into what they would understand. So either translating it, or just explaining it in an easier way than the teacher did. So then they're back on track and they're not just lost sitting there because they're too scared to ask for help. And then something that I kind of didn't know, I didn't realize that there were so many materials that we already use that use AI. So text-to-speech, visual recognition, speech recognition, and a translator in the classroom. These are all using AI already. So we use text-to-speech, visual recognition, speech recognition, and a translator in the classroom almost daily, especially when you have ESL, MLL, or special education students, just because these are the ways they learn and these are the ways that you can help them adapt to learning. So when these are used in a lesson plan or just in their everyday life of being a student, it ends up helping them even more than you think. And then finally, my last topic was increase of engagement. This is the use of programs that have been made to track students' performance and any trends in their learning. So Dansbury already uses one of these. It was called Fast Track. Pretty much they would take a test every once in a while, and this test would track what they were learning, some stuff that they were still iffy about, and then give all the scores to the teacher. They would take this test at the beginning of the year and then the end of the year, and then at the end of the year those scores would be given to their next teacher. So this actually helped the next teacher also make their lesson plans and realize what they had to reteach or teach, so majority of the students coming in would be caught up and on the same page rather than all these kids being all over the place and not understanding something. And then AI can also form lessons that include interest from the students to help them find the lessons more interesting. So many students just get so uninterested in the lesson because they don't like what they're learning. Like, they don't like the book they're reading, they don't like the topic that they're learning. So when you use AI in a lesson plan, this helps them engage more and feel more motivated to do their lesson, especially in the younger ages, because it's like, okay, Mickey Mouse is the one teaching me, or any other character that they may like is the one teaching them how to do their math lesson or how to do their reading lesson, or their book is Paw Patrol, and then they answer questions about that. But as a teacher, you cannot have time to personalize each interest from a kid, so that's when AI would come in and simply help you with that. And then adapting to the learning type that benefits the students the most, so they understand the material more. There are many students and there are many different learning types in the classroom, so adapting to each one is so much harder. When you use AI, you can put in some different learning types with the interests. There are many programs that allow you to just put in their interests and then the learning type. So if they're a visual learner, you put in they're more visual learner. So on the math, they'd have more visual concepts instead of reading them each question and explaining it to them in each question. this was just benefits the students because instead of being confused and sitting there because they don't understand how you're teaching the lesson, they're actually learning, and they're not just memorizing, they're actually getting the information put into their brain by the use of AI, and not just you talking at them or you showing them and them not actually understanding. And then these were just some pictures, and these were all my sources, and yeah, that's it.